You are exhausted. Not just tired, genuinely deeply exhausted. You wake up every single morning and before your feet even hit the floor, the weight of everything you owe hits you first. The bills, the rent, the groceries, the car payment. And you lie there for a second, staring at the ceiling, doing the math in your head, and the math never quite works out the way you need it to. That feeling is real and you are not alone in it. But here is what nobody tells you. The people who stopped feeling that way did not just work harder. They did not grind themselves into the ground for 60 hours a week hoping something would change. They changed the structure of how money came to them. And that shift, that one fundamental shift, is what we are going to break down today in a way that actually makes sense for real life. Now, before we go any further, if you are the kind of person who is serious about building something that actually changes your financial situation, there are some related programs linked down in the video description below. Take a look when you get a chance. Most people scroll past things like that. But the ones who actually change their lives are the ones who stop scrolling and start doing. Just something to think about. Now let us talk about passive income. And let us be real about what it actually is. Passive income does not mean you do nothing. It means you do the work once, or you set something up once, and then that thing keeps producing results without you having to trade your time for it every single day. Think about the difference between digging a well every morning to get water versus digging the well one time and having it flow forever. That is the difference we are talking about. Here is the pain point nobody is being honest about. Most people are trapped in what is called linear income. You show up, you get paid. You stop showing up, the money stops. And when you do the math on that, what it really means is that your entire financial life depends on you never getting sick, never burning out, never needing a break, never having an emergency. And that is not freedom. That is a trap with a paycheck attached to it. And the worst part, you probably already know this. Deep down, you have known it for a while. You have felt the ceiling. You have done everything right. You showed up. You worked hard. And still, there is this invisible wall you cannot break through because there are only so many hours in a day, and you have already sold most of them. So let us talk about what actually works. Real things, practical things, things that do not require you to be a genius or have a fortune already in your bank account. The first one is dividend investing. Here is how it works in the simplest possible terms. You buy small pieces of companies that pay their shareholders a portion of their profits regularly. You put money in and those companies send money back to you just for being an owner. Now at first the numbers feel small, maybe $20 a month, maybe $50, but those numbers compound. They grow on top of each other. And what starts as $50 a month can become $500, then $5,000 over time with consistency. People who started this 5 years ago are now receiving checks every month while they sleep. That is not a fantasy. That is math doing exactly what math does when you give it time. The second one is creating digital products. And this one is powerful because the cost of entry is almost zero. You create something one time, an ebook, a guide, a template, a course on something you already know. And then you sell it over and over again to different people without having to do anything extra. One person spent 3 weeks building a simple resume template. That template now sells dozens of copies every single month without them touching it. 3 weeks of work producing income for years. Think about the return on that investment of time. The third one is rental income. Now a lot of people hear that and think they need to own a house. But the model has expanded dramatically. You can rent out a room, you can rent out a parking space, you can rent items you already own. The core principle is the same. You own something, other people need access to it, they pay you for that access, and that payment keeps coming without you doing new work each time. The fourth one is building a content platform, a blog, a YouTube channel, a newsletter. You create content consistently, you build an audience, and then that audience attracts advertising revenue, sponsorships, affiliate commissions. People who did this 3 years ago with nothing but a phone and something real to say are now generating income that dwarfs what they made at their 9 to 5. Not because they got lucky, because they started. Now here is where most people stop and make the biggest mistake of their financial lives. They look at these options and say, that sounds good for other people. They tell themselves they are too busy, too broke to start, too late to the game. And then they go back to the ceiling, back to the trap, back to the math that never adds up. But ask yourself something honestly. What is the cost of not starting? If you do nothing today, where will you be in 3 years? Still trading the same hours for the same check? Still doing the math on the ceiling every morning? The cost of inaction is not zero. It is everything you could have built during the time you spent waiting. Here is something that separates the people who actually build passive income from the ones who just watch videos about it. The ones who succeed treat it like a system, not a side thought. They carve out even one focused hour a day and they direct it at building something that does not need them forever. 1 hour a day. 365 hours a year. That is almost 15 full 24-hour days of productive building. Do you realize what you can construct in 15 full days of focused effort? The math is not in your favor if you keep waiting, and the social proof is everywhere when you look for it. Ordinary people, teachers, nurses, delivery drivers, people who had nothing but a connection and consistency, are generating hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars every single month from systems they built with time and focus. These are not extraordinary people. They are people who made one decision differently from everyone else around them. They decided that their financial future was worth building intentionally. The authority behind these strategies is not new. The principles of compound income, asset building, and scalable value creation have been proven by economists, studied by financial researchers, and applied by millions of people across different countries and different income levels. This is not a trend. This is a proven architecture for building financial resilience that does not collapse the moment you take a sick day. Here is your pattern interrupt moment. Stop thinking about passive income as something you deserve to have after you get to a certain point. Start thinking about it as the thing that gets you to that point. The sequence most people have in their head is backwards. You do not build passive income because you made it. You make it because you built passive income. And right now, today, with where you are, with whatever you have, there is a version of this path that is accessible to you. Not the version that requires you to already be rich. The version that starts with one honest decision to do something different. Which brings us to where we are right now in this moment. You have watched this far, you have stayed, and that already tells me something about you. It tells me you are not just looking for entertainment, you are looking for something real. The related programs in the video description below exist for exactly that person. The one who has been watching, learning, feeling the urgency of time passing, and who is finally ready to stop watching and start building. Most people will see the link and think, maybe later. But later is the most expensive word in the language of financial growth. The people who win are the ones who act on the right information at the right moment, and this is that moment. Everything you need to take the next step is waiting for you right below this video.